Hey guys, welcome back to the Pulling Curls podcast. Today on episode 224, we are talking about the placenta. It's one of my favorite things to talk about, so let's untangle it. Hi, I'm Hilary, a serial overcomplicator. I'm also a nurse, mom to three, and the curly head behind Pulling Curls and the Pregnancy Nurse. This podcast aims to help us stop overcomplicating things and remember how much easier it is to keep things simple. Let's smooth out those snarls with Pregnancy and Parenting Untangled, the Pulling Curls podcast. Before we get started, today's episode is sponsored by my free prenatal class. It is a free lesson from the online prenatal class for couples. You can find it through the show notes or at pullingcurls.com under courses. In that lesson, you're going to find how we test you in your third trimester, and a lot of those tests are testing your placenta. So come join me in there. It's absolutely free. Okay, I've got 7 amazing facts from the placenta. If you're watching it on video, I don't have these memorized, so I'm going to have my phone up. You might see me glancing around a little bit because the placenta is amazing. I tried to have a placenta person from Instagram come on the podcast, but she never responded. Hashtag her feelings. Quick reminder, the placenta is the thing that helps baby grow. It's the organ that transmits from baby to mom. So it is helping the baby to grow inside your uterus. That's what the placenta is, in case you don't know. Okay, number 1. So most often the placenta is fairly round, but the placenta can actually become misshaped. There are like lobes to the placenta, and it can end up kind of looking like a 4-leaf clover or a 3-leaf clover, which is usually not great for the baby. So usually it's round though in your uterus. If you're pregnant right now, you want to picture if you're like full term pregnant, you want to picture like a dinner plate sized. That's how big it is inside your uterus. It's really big. And fact number 2 is that the placenta is actually an organ, like our lungs or our kidneys. The placenta is an organ, and it is actually the only organ created to be disposable. So it is meant to be thrown away after birth. We don't use it anymore after baby is born. So the placenta is really interesting. How the placenta works is the placenta, this is going to be better if you're on my video, the placenta joins up to the wall of the uterus, and the blood flow from the placenta transfers over to the baby's blood flow, and the baby's waste nutrients transfers over to the placenta. It's actually very much like our lungs, which send waste products for us to respire out, and it gets oxygen by what we breathe in. So similar also to how like our microvilli work in our intestines. So that's how the placenta works. The hope is that mom's blood supply and the baby's blood supply are not actually mixing. They just touch each other there as a transfer of nutrients, although they have found that often there is some of baby's blood supply or cells that end up in mom forever. So the average placenta weighs about a pound at birth. So whatever, your baby weighs, you got to add a pound for that because the placenta came out as well. But when the baby is small, the placenta is actually way bigger than the baby, as it is getting all that blood flow to help baby grow and get bigger, and it's growing itself so that it can sustain that baby throughout the pregnancy. Okay, this next one is super cool. So the placenta actually makes hormones. Some of it keeps the pregnancy running. Others stimulate changes in the mother's body, including breast development and changes in heart, kidney, and blood vessels, all designed to provide a body that is optimal for providing nutrients for the baby. So as we go through pregnancy, you'll notice that maybe your blood pressure is a little bit high in the first trimester, then it goes back low in the second trimester, and then it may creep up in the third trimester. And the placenta/baby is helping to make those hormonal changes as an optimal environment for the baby to live in. And all of that is kind of triggered by the placenta, they think, although we don't really know a lot of this. It is also thought that the placenta helps the mom's immune system and the baby's immune system communicate so that the mom doesn't think that the baby is like a threat. So like when we get a sliver, your body says, this is an unknown foreign object. We need to try and get it out. When you have a baby, you don't want your body to do that. And so the placenta reminds mom's immune system to chill the heck out so that it doesn't remove the baby from your body. So the placenta has a role in that, which is really cool. Okay, this last one, fact number 7, I thought was really interesting. It says that stem cells from your baby can cross the placenta, and they seem to target sites where mom has an injury. Even years later, a tiny number of cells from previous pregnancies can be found in mom's skin, organs, and bone marrow. This phenomenon is called fetal-maternal microchimerism. Pretty sure I pronounced that wrong, but it's really cool that the placenta allows those stem cells that are really good at like fixing stuff to cross and help mom so that she can, heal easier and stuff when she's pregnant. So interesting. So when you have your baby, I would encourage you to say, hey, can I just have the peek at the placenta? If you're real light stomached, it might not be awesome for you because it does look like an organ. It looks like an organ, but it's so interesting to see where the placenta attaches, where the amniotic sac is around that area, how firm it all is, and yet how much like ground beef the placenta looks like. So I would encourage you to take a peek at it. Some OBGYNs or midwives will take you like on a quick little tour of the placenta. I bet yours will if you ask them. A lot of patients don't want to see it, but a lot do. And it's just really interesting that this blob of flesh actually keeps the baby alive for 9 months. It's fascinating, and I'm so grateful for placentas out there. They do a lot of good work for us, and that's the placenta. Stay tuned. We've got secret mom hacks actually coming on next week with some great hacks for you guys. And the week after that, we're going to be talking about if you have to give birth on your back, so stay tuned for those. Thanks for joining us on the Pulling Curls podcast today. If you liked today's episode, please consider reviewing, sharing, subscribing. It really helps our podcast grow. Thank you.